Imagine waking up every morning to find your perfect garden, your little patch of green paradise, turned into a mess of fresh holes. That's what Sandhya faced every single day. At first it was just confusing, then it became frustrating. Her husband, always so practical, just shrugged it off. "It's probably just stray dogs or raccoons," he'd say, trying to reassure her. But Sandhya started noticing things that didn't add up. Why were his work shoes, the ones he kept by the back door, always caked in fresh mud, no matter how sunny it was? The excuses just weren't fitting together. Something was happening right under her nose, in her own backyard, and she felt a growing unease she couldn't shake. The mystery of the dug-up garden kept her awake at night. She'd lie in bed, her mind racing, listening for any strange sounds from outside. One night, she decided she couldn't take the suspense anymore. She had to know the truth. So, she devised a simple plan. She went to bed as usual, but instead of sleeping, she just pretended. She lay perfectly still, listening to the rhythm of her husband's breathing beside her, her own heart pounding in her chest. The minutes ticked by like hours. Then, just as the clock struck 2 in the morning, she heard it. A faint creak of the floorboards. He was getting up. She peeked through her eyelashes and saw him tiptoeing out of the room. A minute later, she heard the soft click of the back door. This was it. Heart thumping, Sandhya slipped out of bed, her feet cold on the wooden floor. She crept to the window and peered into the moonlit darkness. There he was, her husband, with a shovel in his hand, walking towards the back of the garden. He looked like a man on a mission, his shoulders hunched, moving with a strange determination. But without a second thought, Sandhya pulled on a robe and followed him, stepping silently onto the cool, damp grass. Careful to stay hidden in the shadows of the trees that lined their yard, she watched from a distance as he started to dig. He dug with a frantic, desperate energy, dirt flying up around him. It wasn't the work of an animal. This was methodical, focused. He was searching for something. After what felt like an eternity, the shovel hit something with a dull, metallic thud. He dropped to his knees, his hands clawing at the dirt, and pulled out a small old metal box, rusted at the edges. He just knelt there for a moment, staring at it, his shoulders shaking. Curiosity and a little bit of fear propelled Sandhya forward. What could be in that box that he would go to such lengths to hide, and then to find? As she stepped out of the shadows, the snap of a twig under her foot made him freeze. He looked up, his eyes wide with shock and guilt in the pale moonlight. He was caught. Sandhya walked slowly towards him, her gaze fixed on the box in his hands. "What is that?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. He couldn't meet her eyes. He fumbled with the latch and opened it. Inside, nestled on faded velvet, was a stack of letters tied with a ribbon. Letters from a woman Sandhya had never heard of, written in elegant, flowing script. Gentle, warm letters addressed to her husband. Some of them were still sealed, the wax unbroken. "There from my mother." He finally choked out, his voice thick with unshed tears. "I never read them. The day she passed away, I couldn't face it. I just buried them. He had been carrying this grief, this unopened piece of his past, for years. Every night he was drawn back to this spot, trying to build the courage to confront the pain he had buried so long ago, but he just couldn't do it alone. Sandhya's heart broke for him. She went to him, wrapped her arms around him, and just held him as he finally let himself cry, his sobs shaking his entire body. They stayed there until the first light of dawn started to paint the sky. Then, together, they went inside, and by the kitchen window, they began to read his mother's words. The nightly digging finally stopped. Their garden was left in peace, and in its place, something new began to grow, healing.